Hello and welcome to Back to the Boardroom. I'm Greer.
And I'm James.
And we're ready to recap the episode where Lord Sugar has asked the candidates whether they can turn poultry and eggs into profit. It was a great episode this week. I absolutely loved it. We both love a food challenge, and this one did not disappoint.
Exactly, and it had me gripped to the end. I thought I knew the outcome, and I did not.
I thought I knew sort of how bad you could go with creating a recipe, but it turns out I did not know that either.
It was an interesting one. And as you say, we love a food challenge, so lots to dissect. What the candidates had to do this week was a simple task: maximize revenue. Well, maximize the profit. How to do that? Well, they've got to firstly create a dish to sell to the public in a market, but also create canapes for a corporate client and serve them at an event. So they've both been given 25 kilograms of chicken and eggs, along with whatever else they decide to go with that. Come up with canapes and some sort of dish and see how it goes.
Now, I feel like the people who got chicken, they had an easier time of it than the people that got eggs. Eggs, I guess, can be a bit of an acquired taste. Not everybody really eats them, I don't think. And also, if you're trying to come up with a fancy canapé or something for a corporate client, egg, not really your first choice. So there were loads of top moments this week to go through, from flavours together to strange quotes and some interesting leadership. So I'm going to kick off with one of my favourite things. Right at the beginning, it turns out nobody knows how to boil an egg.
Yes, you stole my thunder there. Unbelievable. I think
it's a big one.
There was a quote at the end, wasn't there? Something about, I know how to boil an egg for myself, but not with cooling and then making sure it can be peeled properly.
They were having a really hard time getting the eggshell off. Not in a way that, obviously when you peel it, sometimes it comes away in little bits, but they just didn't know what they were doing. They were hitting it with the spoon. I don't understand. I mean, maybe people aren't out there boiling eggs these days. As I said, there was a lot of discussion about whether people eat certain different things, which then they were using as a reason as to why they couldn't be sort of team lead or just involved, which was odd as well. I understand if you don't eat pork or something for a specific reason, could be a cultural reason, but just saying, I don't like egg or something means I can't be on that team. Just mad. Yeah,
it's crazy. And to build on your point, I think a great moment for me was the fact that the sub-team that actually made the product, just the combinations of, you said, one can't eat pork, one can't eat egg, and there was something else, I can't remember. But just the combination, I think they could have probably divided the team up slightly better so more than one person could taste the finished product.
Definitely. That was a bit of a rookie error. If you've made a product that you're trying to sell to a corporate client and to people out at a market, but you can't taste it, what are you doing? It's just mad. I think because you've said combinations, I'm going to have to bring up the top moment for me is absolute blind panic. Somebody deciding to slice up an egg, put it on a skewer, and then drizzle it with cranberry sauce. Festive.
Yes, not one that I'd be going for if I was at the event.
No, you wouldn't try that, do you think?
Probably not. I do like cranberry sauce, just think it's a bit of an odd combination.
Very odd. It's almost as if when the candidates get into these food tasks, they forget absolutely everything. It seems to be that they argue for so long. I saw a good comment online that said it is like when you give year sevens a simple task to do, which really made me laugh, but did genuinely remind me of being in school, where you spend the whole time bickering or trying to work out what to do or saying this person's not pulling their weight, and then you get to the end of the lesson and you've not created anything. It was just that completely. And I'll just add another one in before we go to your top moment, James. It reminded me of when Karen said, "You're running out of time." And then I can't remember, was it Dan or someone that came back and said, "I'm aware of that, Baroness Brady." I loved it.
Brilliant. to the point, but also respectfully.
Yes.
Moving on to a more positive moment, in my top moments, it was Lawrence and how much energy he had selling that carbonara in the market. I mean, yeah, I'm impressed. Lord Sugar was impressed. Baroness Brady was impressed. I think there was a comment in the boardroom, something about he sold his first 4 portions for £95, which is pretty amazing. Like, that's some expensive carbonara.
That really is. That is impressive. I like you're always coming in with the positive top moments. I'm straight into the negativity, but you bring a nice bit of optimism to Back to the Boardroom, which I like. I thought the idea of doing carbonara actually was quite clever as their main market meal. I thought that was a good shout, much better rather than the egg skewers. Yeah, I was impressed with that one. It's not one that I would have come up with sort of straight off the bat, really. I did want to talk about skewers because that is a top moment of mine. Obviously, the corporate client, when they were putting their order in, said that we want something really amazing. You can, blow us away and we'll pay you that top whack price that you've asked for, but we don't want skewers. And then there's that really awkward moment. It gets a bit cringe and I don't want to watch that on TV. I have to kind of watch through my hands. When the clients were coming back into the kitchen and asking, well, we didn't want skewers, so why? And I felt ill with somebody saying, well, we wanted to give you a nostalgic feel. Are you nostalgic about skewers? Because I'm not. I don't know what that was about.
Not particularly. Not plain chicken and courgette skewers.
No, doesn't remind me of a nice time in the past or anything. Weird excuse.
My final best moment was to do with Megan and the corporate client actually having to inform, I can't remember, maybe it was the sub-team leader, that Megan should stop chatting with the guests and serve more.
Yes, that was funny. They had to interrupt, be like, actually, can you just get back to the task? She was networking. If this Lord Sugar thing doesn't work out, she's meeting new people. I kind of respected it, but at the same time, yeah, it was not good.
No, not at all. But yeah, that was some of my moments.
So there are some of our top moments, and we're always noting down our specific quotes. We're noticing things that come up and the things that happen on screen. And James, you were telling me earlier that you've spotted something else that you want to go through?
Yes, as always, a couple of small details that I don't miss. So firstly, happened in the morning in the house.
Ooh.
I think someone was making a coffee with a Kenko, one of those small, long Kenko sachets. So yes, that did not pass me by without noticing. And also, you may have noticed this one, the card reader they use for market payments. I think it's a square up one because it has the square, double square logo. So those are my 2 observations this week.
Now it is time for the most nerve-wracking part of Back to the Boardroom, where James has come up with a task for us to complete, much like the contestants for Lord Sugar. It is time for the elevator pitch. What awful thing are you going to make me do today? It's not eat an egg skewer, is it?
No, it's not eat an egg skewer. It's not eat a raw egg, you'll be pleased to know.
Oh, thanks.
But it does obviously involve food. The elevator pitch where we have 60 seconds to impress you, our listeners, and Lord Sugar. So, this week, chicken and egg, food related. So, I thought that we would do something similar. So, as always, recently, I have got not one, but 2 pieces of paper.
Yes.
With unknown values.
Values.
Such a datary term.
Very.
Unknown values that our independent adjudicator has provided, and I can tell you what they are about. So each piece of paper will have one main ingredient and one corporate client. And what you will have 60 seconds to do is obviously come up with a dish to sell to the public in the market with your main ingredient and a set of canapes for your corporate client, and to tell us why it is suitable for the client, I guess.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Now, I hope our independent adjudicator has been kind to us this week and not given us some strange food ideas, I guess. I'm nervous.
I have to admit, I did ask for that. I said, we don't want any outlandish food items.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that they have taken notice, but who knows? I don't know what's on these pieces of paper.
Okay. Who are you going to
always,
get? Oh no, is it me?
I'll get you to go first, unless you want me to.
It's fine. I'll get it out of the way. It's my 5 seconds of anxiety in the week. Right, so I'm going to have the bit of paper that is closest to you. So what at the back of your hand. So just put your hand out, that one. Yeah, diagonal.
Okay,
yeah.
Diagonal. You went for the diagonal one last time.
Well, I guess it's easy to identify over the camera.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting. I don't think this is too bad.
Okay.
Actually. So.
Eek.
Right. 60 seconds. Remember, market and canapes. So try and give equal weighting to both. Your main ingredient is prawns.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's too bad. And your corporate client is the card factory. And your time starts
my life.
now.
Okay. So my market dish with prawns, you want something that's easy sort of to eat in a container. You don't want something falling apart. So I guess we've said carbonara. So in my head, I'm thinking of some sort of prawn linguine that you could have over... You know, in a bowl you could take back to your office or eat with a fork sort of stood around. So that's what I'm going to go with. Card factory, canapes, okay. I might go down the sort of traditional route because not many people send cards these days. You want to get back to sort of tradition and maybe the older person sending the card. So you're also going to go for a traditional prawn cocktail canape. Take it back to like the 70s or 80s. And you can also, at the same time, send cards to your grandparents. No, this is going to offend people who eat prawn cocktail listening to Back to the Boardroom, but I also love it. But I think that would work for the synergy. A nice little lettuce leaf, a prawn, a bit of the Mary Rose sauce, something else on top, some cucumber. There you go.
Very good, very good.
Is
it Thousand Island dressing? Is that what they use? Or is
Thousand Island? Yeah, is it? I don't know. Where have I got Mary Rose? I know that's a ship as well. Hang on. Or is it Marie Rose? Why have I said Mary Rose? Very Tudor of me. I'm definitely thinking of older stuff today. Yes, but let's have a look at Thousand Island. The things you learn on Back to the Boardroom.
Indeed.
Well, it hasn't said Thousand Island. Google hasn't specifically come out and told me that Thousand Island is for prawn. Marie or Mary Rose sauce does say prawn cocktail. I'm sure someone will let us know. One of our listeners.
Hopefully. But yes, I thought you did quite well.
Thank you. That was hard. The card factory. Do you think they have corporate canapé away days? Who knows? That was
Maybe
good,
one
though.
of them can reach out.
Please do. Okay, that was quite fun. But I say that after I do the elevator pitch. It's the anxiety going forward. So, James, it's now your time to give it a go. I'm going to get the timer up on the clock. As always, I really wish our independent adjudicator has done one that's nice and then one that's like really, really stressful. So now is our chance to unveil what is on your piece of paper.
Okay, opening now, and we have, interesting, a seafood theme.
Ooh.
We've got cod and water stones.
Okay, I love this. Your time starts now.
Okay, so for the market, I think I've got quite an easy winner here. We're going to go fish and chips. Battered cod, and obviously those chip shop style chips with added extras, so you could have tartar sauce, mushy peas. Those are the things that really will get the money up if you want those add-ons. Vinegar obviously included. Water stones. Right, what could I do for Waterstones? Canapes with cod. I'm going blank here. I think so. I'm just trying to think. Books. You may want, I don't know. What you could do is a small cod bite that's in breadcrumbs with some sweet chili jam sauce. That's quite good. I don't know how I'm going to link it to books, but that's what we're doing.
Time. That was tough. Yeah, there was a bit of panic around what on earth do we provide Waterstones with a bit of cod. I was thinking you could have gone the mini fish and chips route and you could have gone
You could have
double. But how do you link cod to books?
Now I'm not under pressure. I can actually think, but I'm still drawing blanks.
Unless it was some sort of like cookbook launch, British cooking or British something, best of British books and fish and chips. I don't know. That might be the one.
That's quite good, yeah. But I like my sweet chili jam.
It is good. Now, I was really impressed that you had the add-ons. My mind drew a blank trying to think of what on earth to sell prawns at the market instead of having like a prawn baguette or something. But I like the add-ons. You've got a really good winner there with mushy peas, with whatever, onion rings even you could add on.
Onion rings, yes, yeah. That's a good one.
I like that you won't charge for vinegar though. Yeah. That's very nice.
Only a sachet though.
Oh, just one. If there's 2 sachets, it's extra.
Exactly. So, funnily enough, when I always try and think while you're doing yours, what I would do for your one, and I think I'd have gone paella. Myself.
Oh, that's a good shout. Yeah, I think
prawn linguine is good and probably has quite a high markup because paella has probably more in it.
Yeah, that's true. They were both quite difficult today, but I think we did all right. As always, please let us know what you thought of our elevator pitches. Whose did you prefer, mine or James? Let us know on Instagram at Back to the Boardroom. And as always, you can leave us a voice note on WhatsApp or just message us on WhatsApp. The number is 07379 171 890. So we'd love to hear from you. Now it's time to go back to the boardroom where Lord Sugar has to decide whether it's 1 or 2 or more people to send home. So before we talk about who ended up in the boardroom and who ultimately went home, I would like to know what the secretary is up to because every week so far we've heard she's had quite a big role. What has she been doing this week?
Yeah, so this week I feel like it was back to kind of the usual Series 19, pre-Series 20 secretary. So we didn't see too much of her, and the only two times we really saw her, she had some sort of big spreadsheet up, lots of columns, presumably some sort of planning trajectory thing, but it was actually too out of focus to really get what she was doing, so not a massive update, unfortunately.
Oh, so you couldn't see the spreadsheet or anything this week?
No,
never mind. Well, at least there's a lot to talk about with what was going on in the boardroom. Lord Sugar was kind of on fire this week with several jokes. I don't know if the whole debacle about whether he has somebody writing them in the press last week made him go back to the edit and say, I want all of the jokes that I said put in. We even had some kind of rude ones. I think your nuggets were showing was one of the comments that he made. And there was also Baroness Brady saying, I think you should tell Lord Sugar about your struggle with the maths that I enjoyed. Yeah, they weren't leaving any stone unturned this week.
I think Lord Sugar was quite brutal, maybe deservedly, about the whole boiling an egg situation.
Yes.
About, as you said, the maths. You know, I'm not saying mental maths and degree level maths are the same, but it did seem like they should have had the skills to calculate it a bit better.
Very true. Some more skills that I wanted to highlight in this section, because I know we're probably not going to talk about him because he's not in the final 3 of the boardroom, but it's Dan. Dan originally at the start of the episode said he wasn't sure if he wanted to take on the project manager task because there's a lot of big personalities and he wasn't sure if he could handle it. And then throughout the episode, he did seem to struggle with actually making a decision. Lots of people were very polite and nice with him, sort of trying to help him along and saying, Dan, it's up to you, whatever you want to do. But I think he panicked a bit when he had to sort of put his foot down and say exactly what they wanted to do. I've written one quote down here where he said it's quite a conundrum for me at one point, and I don't know, I felt bad because you don't want to put, you know, the wrong foot forward, but you've got to back whatever idea it is, and that's what happens in the project manager role.
Yeah, I think there was a case of weighing up too simplistic versus actually doing something that's safe. And yes, the idea was safe. I thought they could have gone a bit more, maybe with the safe option for the pies, then they should have gone a bit more out there on the canapes.
That is very true.
To very lightly spiced courgette and chicken.
Well, turns out that is the better option of the two. So Dan was probably quite happy in the end. But I'm sure we'll see him, I don't know about in a project manager role again, but I'm sure we'll see him maybe make a very strong decision at some point in the series.
The final numbers were the egg team spent £279.70. They made more in the market, bringing in £356.50. Even though they had some refunds, they still got £432, giving £508.80 overall profit. But I think it was a combination of the spend and the low client, because they did well on the market, that lost them this task. Because unlike £279.70, Team Chicken came in a lot lower at £186.81. They brought less in on the market, but even though they had, I think, just under double the amount of refund percentage, they still brought in £680 from the client, giving them, of course, the total of £742.67. So, yes, didn't do anywhere near as well in the market, but that spend and that client are what swayed it.
So the three people that did make it back into the boardroom were Tanmay, Megan and Carrington. Now, the end of the episode, Tanmay was the one to be fired, but he's since said in the press that he believes that Megan should have gone instead. So do you think he was the right person to go this week?
I did think that Megan was the initial source of going down so cheaply. So I can only assume there was something more to it. Something more, maybe Megan put in a lot more work behind the scenes that we didn't see, whereas Tanmay didn't. Because I think, yes, he was partially to blame, but I think definitely the initial low offer was Megan.
I think so. I agree with you. I thought Lord Sugar probably would have picked up on that and chose her. And I think some of the others were possibly shocked that he was the one to go because of the pricing. And in the end, it's a profit task, isn't it? So, you know, on a different day, maybe she could have been the one to actually be fired. But again, this week, no treat. Again, it looks like we're not having them this year. And social media is equally annoyed as you, James.
Good.
They deserve a treat. People are saying, where are the escape rooms? Where are the adult soft plays? Come on.
Yeah, I like your brutal reviews of the treat after each week and whether you would actually do it. So we are missing them. Maybe they will return later in the series, but I fear they've set a precedent. Maybe it's your treat is that you're still in the process. And now for the best part of the show, it's Apprentice News with Greer.
With me. Well, you've bigged me up on this part this week because the news is quite slim on the ground. The only sort of thing that did come up is that Levi, people were asking where he was in the boardroom, and he did a bit of a social media video post after, explaining to everyone in quite graphic detail that he spewed up in the taxi on the way and had to sort of sit in the bathroom for a lot of it. So he obviously wasn't very well. But I thought in the absence of news, social media is being very vocal about this season, and there's been a few interesting things that I've noticed that I thought we could go through this week. So on Twitter, I saw, we have talked about the boiling the egg thing, but on Twitter this week, Joanna said, a candidate on The Apprentice has 5 kids and can't boil an egg. She's also never seen Big Ben. Where do we find these people? Is this the best they can do? Which I thought was amusing, but I'll be honest, the surprise I had at Amanda looking out of the window, it's not that I guess that she didn't maybe hadn't seen Big Ben before, but couldn't recognise it up close. And then obviously she's going in for investment with Lord Sugar. I did think that's a little bit of a common sense faux pas there. And we'd picked her in our predictions as someone that's going to go far.
Yes, supposedly getting to the final. But yes, I think the producers had a field day there with that in the edit.
Exactly. Excellent clip. And I know what Joanna's saying about is this the best they can do, but come on, you've got to have great television as well. Surely the sort of best business minds of the country, they're going to be in business already. You need the people that need that extra bit of Lord Sugar's mentorship. So I thought it was a fun moment. And next up, Zoe London, who's a DJ and producer, shared on Threads that she says, I think it's time The Apprentice gets a reboot. I'm sick of watching people without common sense yell at each other. In this day and age, it would be better TV to have intelligent, interesting people from real walks of life be given a chance that they might not normally get, which I thought was a bit of a controversial thing. We've obviously spoken about how this season is a little bit different. They are doing things a bit different for this 20th anniversary, but I don't know what about the candidates seems like they're not from real walks of life. They're obviously intelligent, and yes, this is a opportunity they might not usually get. So I thought that was a strange bit of criticism. I kind of agree that it's not a serious show. It is meant to be entertaining as well, but I don't think it needs a whole reboot.
No, and I think, to be fair to the candidates, they're put in a very interesting situation that we were not privy to all of the constraints, I don't think. And
no.
I think even if you put 10 of the best brains in a team and put them under those conditions, they would probably not do as well as you think, because there's a lot of trying to I guess get more airtime or get more exposure, because it's a game and you're kind of playing along to what you need to do to win, essentially.
Exactly. I think it's entertainment, isn't it? It's entertainment first. Maybe there's room to have another proper business show on the BBC or another channel, which would be good. But that's not really the reason we watch The Apprentice. And I do think they're very normal people from, everyday walks of life trying to get investments. So I'm not sure I agree with that one. And then the last one I saw on Threads as well, Sam Shepherd was talking about how the Boardroom and Lord Sugar, Baroness Brady and Tim, they're actually following a bit of bias that we can see in workplaces across the country and I guess across the world, where people who are quiet are being deemed as incapable or not a team player, because being loud is valued even if their performance is poor. And I mean, it's an interesting point, isn't it? There is always that, you haven't done enough, so I don't really know much about you, so I'm going to send you home. But actually, you are right. Sometimes the people who are loud, they're not doing very well. They're just maybe charismatic or confident. I think there's possibly a mix in business, but I thought it highlighted an interesting thing.
I do resonate with that, because I would definitely be the quiet one who likes to think and be more measured.
Definitely not get involved in the drama, but still hopefully. I think that's the key. You don't want to get involved in the drama, but you don't want to go under the radar as much where Lord Sugar thinks you're not doing anything or you're not capable. So, yeah, a real mix. But I thought that was an interesting one. I agree. I can see that being a thing across many jobs, and people listening will probably agree with you. They will resonate with that. But yeah, hopefully some of the quieter ones start coming out of their shell across the next few episodes, because we're well into it now. I'd like to see some of the other people who have been a little bit quiet come into the foreground in a few episodes' time. So there is the news. Apologies, it's not proper news stories, but I thought it would be interesting to have a look at some of the fan reaction. If you do want to share your opinion on this week's Apprentice or any of the opinions that I've shared from social media, please do send us a voice note and we may feature you on the show. 07379 171 890.
This week we need a prediction update, and we're going to start with something that's very important, our ChatGPT prediction for the team name. So interestingly, it was Alpha and Eclipse, I believe.
Yes.
ChatGPT picked it incorrectly, Velocity and Pinnacle. However, they did catch on to something that was kind of true. So when they picked Velocity, in brackets it said a return. So it's been previously used. And I looked up, and both Eclipse and Alpha are previous team names. Eclipse from Series 3, Alpha from Series 4. So
interesting.
Is there.
That is interesting. And what I thought was, new, Lord Sugar picked them outright. He didn't give them a chance to come up with their own strange team name. Maybe they were favourites of his.
Maybe, yes. Maybe that's another Series 20 edition. He gets to pick the names. Okay, moving on from AI's prediction to ours. I have got 4 new predictions for us to do. So, firstly, the final score between the two teams is currently 1-0 to Alpha. There is a total of 8 wins possible. Greer, what is your guess?
So 8 wins overall, not adding the 1. So it's not 9.
Wins.
Sorry.
No,
this is why I wouldn't be good in the mental maths task. Okay, 8 wins overall. I'm going to say 5-3.
2.
Alpha's got 1 already, so let's stick with Alpha. So 5 to Alpha, 3 for Eclipse.
Okay, I am going to go for a nice 4-all.
Oh, straight down the middle.
Yes, indeed. So moving on, going on the topic of don't know how to boil an egg, I would like, who is going to give the biggest blunder of the series?
Do you know what? I know we said that she's going to be our winner, but after the Big Ben thing, I'm going to say it's Amanda.
Andrea.
Oh, no. I'm going to say it's Andrea. I think I called her Amanda earlier in the episode. Oh, God. Okay.
I am going to go with Megan.
Interesting.
Okay. On a similar note, most delusional confidence.
The person who's going to have the delusional confidence has to be a salesperson because that's their natural skill. So I'm going to say Rajan, who's the pharmaceutical salesperson from Kent, actually.
Very good. Well, I'm going to have to go. Sorry, Dan, but I didn't think Team Chicken were going to win, and I think there was a bit of delusional confidence there, unfortunately. And we'll see how they both fare. And finally, I would like to know the next episode where we are going to see a double firing.
Oh, that's such a good one. So we're on week 3 and we've got 12. The next double firing. I'm going to say week 6.
Okay.
Right in the middle.
I'm going week 5, I think. And the other one is coming very, very soon. So that is the next 4 predictions we've got. That's probably the end of the predictions. A quick hour narrator update. So we had 2 new hours this week. So we're up to 13 distinct hours. 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., and then 3 to 8 p.m.
So we've got a few more to go on that one.
Yes, but they can't use all the hours very early on.
Very true. So we will see how we fare in our predictions over the next coming weeks. Now we've locked all of our answers in, and we'll see if James is generous enough to give me more than the half point in the coming weeks. So that's everything chicken and egg for this week. Do let us know what you thought of the episode. If you have any of your own top moments, you can message us at Back to the Boardroom on Instagram, or you can also send us a voice note or a text message on WhatsApp to 07379 171 890. And next week, they're going to be advertising water. And the episode is going to include another presenter, Big Zoo, which sounds pretty interesting. Another thing for Series 20. The episode says the candidates must tap into the bottled water market to create a TV advertisement and a social media campaign, but watered down branding and wishy-washy ads means a candidate is filtered out. Some good copywriting there. So, James, do you have a final thought for us this week?
I think going on that writing there, will Lord Sugar's views be watered down?
Oh.
Or will the punches still come out next week?
Well, we'll have to tune in and see. Join us on Back to the Boardroom for episode 4, same time next week. See you then.
Bye.